Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode would be checking out a piece coming from the up-and-coming cinematographer known as Tom Casics. This episode we're going to be talking about this kind of black and white dual set color palette. We're going to talk about the symbols of Vietnam. We're also going to talk about the immense importance of finding our initial origin. So let's jump right into it. So this is quite a kind of short film, so we're going to look at some screenshots and see what we can learn today. So the first introduction we're given is the really simple title card. It is a very nice and a very tranquil introduction. And so right after that, we're open to the scene of just a lone subject kind of creating in silence. He appears to be in a warehouse or some type of room. And so he is sketching in silence, as most creators often do. You know, we are kind of lonely in that sense, and then we share it to the world, of course. And so we see this here, right? The subject is sketching in silence. It appears to be some type of charcoal study. And so, you know, creating alone, very typical of the artist, of course. We always feel like we're kind of in solitude, and then we share it to the world. Creator on that. And so we are looking at a symbol known as Chim Lạc. So that is a kind of bird from the origins of the Vietnamese people. So this is very important to the Vietnamese identity. What you'll see here in the top left, for example, you see a very professional kind of ceremonial image of that. Then you also see, so the creator, the subject that we're looking at here, has this tattooed on the side of the head as well. And not only that, but he also is kind of studying or sketching this in the charcoal form as well. Always very important whenever looking at this work. And so what you'll also notice is throughout the entire piece, we get this kind of black and white, this kind of dual set color palette. And this is quite indicative of the themes that we're working with, whether it's light and dark, whether it's kind of looking at our initial origins versus being lost from that. You know, there's so many different things you can draw from that, right? So I see kind of a sense of duality with that. There's always that dance of those two kind of dual archaic forces for sure. You know, the artist is just kind of sitting here creating in silence. It is a really simple introduction. It is very tranquil, calm, and even invites the viewer maybe to even create for themselves. You can see how tranquil that feels in that first introduction. So the artist kind of stops for a second, and we also see kind of an Alex Gray tattoo there. Always gotta mention some art influence, right? So the next one we see is, you know, he gets up to go make some tea, right? It's super simple. It is a very kind of atmospheric, scene. You have all these, I guess, what you would call kind of background noises, you know, the clinking of the cup, walking by, all of that, you know, it really maximizes the impact of atmosphere. You know, we don't have any dialogue, so you're not going to be distracted by any type of, you know, talking in the background, any type of noise like that. So it is a very kind of zen feeling. You know, it is a kind of background noises and really nice there as well. And so the artist goes in tea, then he also lights a smoke, and then he starts a record here. So he starts a record, and it is a really nice scene. You know, he gets the hand, puts it straight on. You kind of have those roiling wisp of smoke kind of interrupting the scene as well. You have that light and dark contrast, of course, of the smoke kind of going on that black record. So that also is a really nice scene. But what's important is, you know, he puts on this record, and from this point on, the record kind of devolves into madness before we go on to our next scene. And so the artist, you know, he turns on this record, and from this point, it just kind of devolves into madness. He goes back to creating, and it kind of slowly pans out to get this scene that we're looking at here. So we see this kind of massive pile of all those charcoal studies, absolutely amazing. And I also have the reference of the original Vietnamese symbol up top if you guys want to kind of look at that. We see kind of like a kind of psychedelic primitivism, kind of neo-expressionism within the hand, and he creates this obviously a massive pile here, and it kind of zooms out in that very dramatic. And so the next cut that we're given, you know, it goes black from this. We're given kind of the static kind of sound effect, and then it devolves into straight madness. So it goes to black, and then it goes out here. So now we're in nature, and we see the lone creator, the lone subject, just walking, and then he kneels closer to the earth, which is kind of symbolic in many ways, right? Of course, if the sky is the realm of the gods, there's a sense of humility when you kneel down. And then he looks at the flower, almost like smelling the roses in a way, and then he asks himself, what are we doing? So the kind of gist of this entire work is, all throughout life, especially as a creator, you're always creating things, always trying to go for that next mountain. But in the end, you know, what are we doing? So that really is the question that the artist is asking here. You know, we're always trying to go for something, but at the end of the day, even when we achieve that, what are we doing, right? So really nice work as well. This is kind of an indie film production, so I always love looking at that type of stuff. Of course, artists early in their journey, it's really hard to say what they'll look like in 10, 20 years, but it's always fascinating to look at some of those early works as well. So really nice work. I wanted to show, kind of maximize atmosphere and show, a very grand, a powerful, and a profound theme with as little elements as possible. So we certainly see that, whether it's the absence of color in this kind of dual set color palette, whether it's the absence of dialogue, which intensifies atmosphere. All of these are incredibly important, and we all hark back to that sense of atmosphere, almost like a sense of zen as well, and that kind of use of almost negative space in the context of cinematography, just an incredible impact, and it was a blessing to be able to study this. So hope you guys enjoyed. We talked about kind of Vietnamese symbol, very important for the early ancient peoples, and we also have kind of what are we doing, a kind of grand realization, or at least asking the question to go towards that realization. So really nice work. I hope y'all enjoyed today. The original artist is going to be Tom Casics, doing some amazing work. He's always working on that next cinematography project, so we're always hyped to see the next thing coming out. So hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all learned something. Go check out the original artist. You can find this full piece. You can watch it, check it out for yourself. I hope y'all enjoyed. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.